to Home of the Judy Chop. I'm Diamond Dave, purveyor of the Judy Chop. What we's gonna go over today, people, is a properly flung Judy Chop, okay?
Well, this is another episode of UFO Garage.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Joe, and this is where we talk about UFOs, aliens, and all things weird.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Episode 13, bro.
Episode Lucky 13?
What do we got going on today, dude?
Is it Lucky 13 or is it Unlucky 13?
I think it's Lucky 13.
I always feel
man.
like people are so wishy-washy on that. They're like, it's Lucky 13. Some people are like, no, 13 is so unlucky.
You know, where it's called luck is what you make it.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Well, we'll make this a lucky one, dude. Definitely make this a lucky one.
So what do we got going on? I know we were talking about some things about Mars.
Ooh, yeah, Mars stuff.
The Stephenville
UFO
sighting.
Right?
And some Corey Goode things.
Corey
Goode. I've been referencing, or both of us have been referencing Corey Goode for.
Yeah.
I mean, basically almost every single episode, because it's like,
yeah, I figured we'd just bring him out a little bit and we'll just kind of talk about him today.
Yeah, and his story is so lengthy. Like we were talking about, like it would take you hours to watch this thing. And if you're listening to this and don't know about Corey Goode, he's an insider. He's one of David Wilcock's insiders that was a part of this secret space program. And you can find all of his interviews with David Wilcock on Gaia. The show's called Cosmic Disclosure. I mean, we're not sponsored by them at all, but
No.
we've been watching that stuff for like a year, maybe a year now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, pretty cool stuff. Definitely.
Awesome stuff.
Awesome stuff.
And like Corey's Good story is hours and maybe, what would you say, like 10 hours long?
Dude, it has to be because it's I don't even know how many seasons have Corey Goode in there, right?
I don't even know.
How many seasons? Because
I'd have to look.
I'm only halfway through the second season, but the whole first season and then now the second season, and it just keeps going and going and going.
It's really long. I know that I've definitely tuned out for a couple of the episodes. There's just so much.
But there's different people. Like, if you keep going through the Cosmic Disclosure, dude, there's a lot of episodes.
Emery Smith.
Seasons. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, Emery Smith's is awesome. Like, when you get to his stuff, and then they're together, like Corey Goode and Emery Smith, and they kind of bounce back and forth between each other. Like, they never worked with each other, but they have similar experiences because they were kind of in the same program.
Yeah.
But, I guess we'll just, like, start talking about Mars and then ease into whatever, Corey Goode's story.
Did we have any cool stuff on Facebook before we get started on that, though?
Let's look at the Facebook. Something cool that, let's see. Cody Leatherwood. Was that? I don't know. Someone else shared that on our Facebook, and it was by Cody Leatherwood. Lee Peace. What's up, Lee?
Yeah, that's right, Lee.
Dude, thanks for sending us. This is. I mean, I read through some of it. Joe, you know more about this.
Yeah,
stuff
it was right after our last episode.
Yeah,
and I drove home and I got home and I checked it out and there was this post and I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And it kind of has to do with like the Mandela effect, and stuff, and how it's a big long thing. If you read through it, but it kind of has to do with like, are things different? Are things changing? This Mandela effect that people talk about. I know a while ago I posted something about stovetop stuffing and how it never existed.
Yeah,
people were like, wait, yes, yeah, they did. So for stovetop stuffing, right? And it's like, no, it never existed. But that's just a kind of a silly one. The Berenstain Bears and this and that. But it kind of has to do with these like multi-universes. And did our universe, maybe the one we lived in, did it end?
In 2012.
In 2012, did it end? Did CERN do something that ended that universe?
Yeah.
And we just kind of shifted into a whole nother like little universe with small changes here and there.
Yeah, because you never heard about the Mandela effect until after basically 2012.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I had never heard of the discrepancy between the Berenstain Bears and all that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude.
So what was the Statue of Liberty thing?
So go through it right here. It's basically, where is it at? Right there. Read it.
The Mandela effect gets much creepier, though. Some people remember the Statue of Liberty being in a totally different location. The location being Ellis Island. It's actually on Liberty Island.
I've always heard of it being on Ellis Island, right?
I don't know enough about New York and the Statue of Liberty, so I mean, this one kind of went over my head. But this one, it says, here's a painting clearly depicting the statue of Ellis Island with no other islands nearby. Was the artist just playing, or was not paying attention, or did he just like it better this way? I really don't think so. ... So that's like the first one, and there's like clearly a painting that shows a totally different landmass than an actual photo that's posted above
with the Statue of Liberty on it.
Yeah. And then there's now, if that's not strange enough, if you go to Google Maps Street View, there's a few specific areas of Liberty Island where the Statue of Liberty is just gone. Residue from the previous timeline? ? And that's like
what?
So weird.
It's like it used to be there, but now it's not there. It's on this completely different island.
Dude, yeah. Okay, so when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's fucking weird. If I can see like physical evidence and
So
photos,
I want to ask like some New Yorkers out there, like, what's up with this Statue of Liberty thing? Did it move? Did it move? And if it did move, did you see it?
Yeah.
Do you know about it? Did you even notice it? Or did we just shift into this other dimension?
Yeah,
Right?
there's so many different islands near New York. It just totally confuses me. I'm so bad at geography and like what.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So I have like no reference. So we need some like real people that are from New York to reach out to us to let us know if this is if this is not weird at all, that it's always been on the same place.
Yeah.
It would be awesome to get two conflicting stories from two different people from New York. To say
It would be cool.
Wouldn't that be
cool.
sick?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was an awesome post. I'd love to get to the bottom of that one.
My wife has some family that lives in New York. Maybe I can shoot them a message and ask them.
Dude, yeah, you
Be
should.
like, hey, where's the Statue of Liberty? What island is it?
Yeah. Well, where is it?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, Ellis Island sounds familiar. I mean, I remember it through Hey Arnold, honestly. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Hey Arnold.
Yeah. Yeah, football head. Yeah, dude, that was pretty crazy. Let's see. And
Alejandra, thank you so much for posting those awesome photos of your doggies. They're so cute.
Yes,
And that shirt,
I love it.
the Come and Take a shirt, looks awesome in that green.
Yeah, it does look cool.
Yeah, shout out. Thank you so much.
Dude,
That's
we
awesome.
should make bandanas.
We should. I know. I looked on the options for Printify, and they don't have a bandana, but they do have like a small towel. So I don't know. I don't think that's the same.
No, I don't think so.
It's like one of those online buys where in the photo it looks pretty big, but when you get it, it's like 3 inches big.
Yes. Maybe I can get them at Taylor Sporting Goods.
Yeah, maybe, dude.
Have them printed up.
Let's prop up some local businesses.
I'm down.
Maybe do that.
Dude, Texas Beer Co?
Didn't Taylor Sporting Goods used to print stuff all the time?
Yeah, they make T-shirts and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, shout out to Taylor Sporting Goods, dude.
Yeah, that's right.
You could get basically anything on any T-shirt, right?
Yeah.
They have the little heat press or whatever.
It's like, my son's a Taylor Duck. No shit.
Another cool post on Facebook was the college students at, what is it? UFindlay?
Where's that at?
College Pharmacy has developed I don't know where UFindlay is.
Is it in Newfoundland?
Newfoundland? It's a part of ufology.
I don't know.
But it says it developed a chemical compound that kills glioblastoma. Jesus, this is hard to read. A brain cancer cells.
Yeah.
They have also refined it to ignore healthy brain tissue, and focus on the cancer cells. So
that's pretty badass. They can give it to you, and it can only attack the cancer cells, right? It leaves the rest of the good brain cells alone.
Right.
And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Are we going to hear anything about that on the news? You think we're going to find out about it? You think there's going to be some like breakthrough cure coming out, or do you think that'll be just thrown under the rug, swept under, and we'll never hear about it?
Well, first of all, we have to figure out if UFOs is an actual place.
Well, I don't know. Here, I can Google it really fast. UFOs. What is it?
It's UFINDLAY. UFOs. I mean, of course, my skepticism is going straight towards, we'll never freaking hear about this because the big pharma is gonna sweep this under the rug and no one's ever gonna hear about it again. But I mean, the optimist in me says, it's just gonna take a little while for it to get approved and go through trials and things.
So UFOs isn't all one word. It's a University of Findlay University in Findlay, Ohio.
Oh,
so it's in Ohio.
Findlay, okay.
Yeah.
Ohio, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, Ohio?
Damn.
Man, finding some cool stuff out there, man.
Yeah, who knew?
So, well, I mean, the word is out. The word is out. It's on our page. If somebody tells you that that's not true, here it is on Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks,
Right,
Dan.
right.
Dan Warren, you're badass, dude. You posted a bunch of awesome stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
One in particular, the quantum entanglement theory, or what's actually been proved lately with the scientists that have done the quantum entanglement with the light particle, the photon, and going from Earth into space and having it be interacting with each other and being at two places at once. It kind of goes into the story. Me and we're talking about this earlier with a communication device that Corey Goode talks about in this upcoming story that we're about to go into.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, that quantum entanglement stuff, dude, that's trippy.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome stuff.
I don't think my brain is, it's not meant to understand that thing, that kind of stuff, but I feel like we can break it down to a certain level and kind of understand
kind of the basics of
to a
it,
certain
right?
extent, at least.
Right, just kind of break it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also is it Beaver, Utah? That UFO in Beaver, Utah?
Oh, yeah.
You also posted another one, and that is a sick video. I remember I texted you about it, and you were like, "Yeah, I saw that."
Was that the one that just zips by?
Yeah,
the guy
just zips by.
Yeah. So I've seen somebody trying to debunk that as a bug. There's no fucking way, dude.
No way.
It clearly comes out from the other side of the mountain, and then in a flash it goes, and they slow it down. They're shooting with a really high powered camera.
Yeah.
They slow it down, and you can visibly see it coming from the other side of the mountain all the way across their heads. And it gets larger when it gets closer.
And they track it anywhere from 7,000 to 9,000 miles an hour, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's so fast.
That's fucking insane.
Holy cow. And they probably go faster. Right?
Yeah.
They definitely go faster. That's just cruising speed for these things.
Right?
Dude, that's insane. 9,000 miles an hour.
9,000.
9,000. But, dude, do you think we have stuff that goes 9,000 miles an hour now?
Hell no.
No, you don't think so?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
I bet we do.
I think we do.
I bet we
bro.
got some pretty crazy stuff, especially after the story we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really like, okay, well, all the stuff that we assume that maybe we have, maybe we don't have, is child's play.
Yeah.
It's complete child's play, dude.
Right.
Like,
yeah, especially the story we're going to go into.
Gosh.
It really kind of opens up your eyes. I mean, I haven't heard this story in a while, and after starting this podcast and going back to this story, it really makes me think about a lot of things we've been talking about and hearing on the news. And just the corroboration between Corey Goode's story and facts that are coming out now, and other testimony and other whistleblowers and people on the inside coming out with very, very similar stories. It's pretty eerie to see the connections there.
Yeah.
So when we get to it, I think we definitely have some shit that goes faster than 7,000 miles an hour for sure. But man, let's do a couple. So we're sponsored by two people right now. Abduction 51. Joe, you're sporting one of their shirts. Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, dude, I got the alien hand.
Yeah.
I got the alien hand on today. Yeah, Abduction 51. I finally got my stuff in. My wife got her shirt too.
Yeah,
she
dude.
loves it. They're super comfy, dude.
Yeah, I like y'all's post looked good too. The shirt looks silky smooth, man.
It is pretty smooth. It's brand new.
I like that the hand only has 4 fingers too.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's a large image.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it though.
Yeah, you would think, you see images online of shirts online. We were talking about shopping online earlier, and you think it's going to be one thing. When you get it, it's not. But that's an awesome, like, full shirt print. Like, that's not cheap to make.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited I got it. Took me about 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I guess, to get it.
Coming from the UK,
Yeah,
it's not too bad.
it wasn't bad at all.
It's kind of a long time, but, not too bad.
Well, they had to send it on the mail flower,
Yeah, the
dude.
mail flower. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I got more stuff on the way, too. I got a hat and another shirt.
Nice.
The They Built It shirt.
Oh, okay.
It's got the pyramid and the UFO on top.
Dope.
Yeah,
That's
so
sick.
I got that.
Oh, it looks like the pyramid's coming out of the UFO.
Mhm.
That's sick.
And then we got shirts on the way, too, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they should be here pretty soon.
Yeah, those samples that we ordered, dude, I'm so stoked about those. This is gonna
Guys,
be
we got
awesome.
so much merch up.
so much merch.
If we did it after the last podcast, like, I
Yeah.
feel like we've had it for months now. But
Yeah, I know.
'cause I've been talking about it, like, with everybody.
Yeah, we got a backpack. We got hats. We got 2 new shirt designs.
Yep, a beanie.
A beanie. We got stickers now.
Dude,
Oh, I'm so stoked.
Me
Dude.
too, me
We've got
too.
a whole store set up. Bro.
I know. It's pretty cool. I like that. Dude,
Yeah.
I like the color options on the hats. They're pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
I got the
didn't-
solid black, but they look super cool.
Yeah, I did.
Like
I
the
didn't know
different
that
colors.
that was even an option. I didn't even see that when I was setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome,
I wonder what the orange one looks like. I bet it's pretty dope.
dude. Hell yeah!
I bet it's
Hell
pretty
yeah.
dope.
I might get that orange one. That looks awesome.
Deep orange.
Deep orange.
Deep orange is the color.
And then you posted another photo with your Dr. Squatch soap brick.
Dr. Squatch.
Dr. Squatch.
Yeah, man. I just opened that bad boy up yesterday.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, pine tar.
Pine.
Ooh, it's an exfoliating bar, and you can feel it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. It smells delicious.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh,
And so we got a link on our website for both area Abduction 51. Always
time.
every fucking time. Got a link for both of those sites on our website, UFO Garage PC. Check it out. Click on those links to get 10% off your next order. Show us some love. We get a little kickback every time somebody uses our code or clicks on the link from our website. It helps us out with the podcast. We're trying to save up to start to video our podcast and put it on YouTube.
Yep.
So y'all can see Joe's beautiful face,
Oh.
and y'all can just hang out with us and drink beer with us. And we really, really appreciate it if y'all click on those links and buy some cool stuff.
yeah, and yeah, the Dr. Squatch, dude, lather's oh so sweet.
Lather. Oh.
You need to get some, dude.
I know. I need to buy some.
Buy some.
Yeah.
Do it now. Right now on the podcast.
Okay, I'm pausing it right now.
Click. But yeah, dude. So the Stephenville UFO.
Yeah, man.
I thought that was pretty cool. Like, it's something I had seen a few years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. When did it say? 2015, I think, is when all these people saw this thing.
I just clicked on it. It was 2008.
2008.
Friday, July
what it was.
18th, 2008.
Ooh, July 18th.
Dude, that was the year I graduated. It was 2008. Dude.
Oh, really?
Graduated high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, so that thing seemed pretty crazy. I think I remember seeing something about it. It was either Discovery Channel.
Oh,
or
yeah, it's been
History
everywhere.
Channel. Like, yeah, it's been everywhere. But
They have
I
the
thought it was-
documentary about it now?
Yeah. We have some family that lives out in Stephenville. We should take a trip out there one night.
Dude, let's do it.
We should take a trip out there. Just crash for the night. I'll bring the telescope,
Dude.
and we can just bring our lasers
That sounds
and
dope.
just scope it out.
Yeah.
On a night where there's no moon,
Yeah.
go scope it out, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. That'd be sick.
That'd be pretty sweet, right?
I want to go on a UFO hunt, man.
Me too.
I want
Really
to figure
bad.
out where there's but we got to go in like a moment's notice.
Do you
where
think
we're
it's like fishing,
yeah,
where people have like a sweet spot?
absolutely. It's either that or that there's been some sightings in the past couple weeks, and then we got to get on. It's almost like moment's notice where we find out. We just look. I guess check MUFON and just see where in Texas.
Yeah.
These UFOs are popping up because they're popping up all the time. And if we can figure out just a couple of days before, we could do a quick trip. Like drive to wherever. And just spend a night there and then come back or whatever. That'd be sick,
pretty sweet.
dude. Yeah.
But yeah, this thing out in Stephenville, dude, people were reporting that it was like 3 to 4 football fields long.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's
That's
fucking
huge.
huge. You said it was a circle, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a giant UFO, 4 football fields long.
Did they say anything about the color of the lights?
I don't know. Maybe.
Like if they were red or like different colors.
I'm not sure. It was a while ago since I've seen the thing on it, so
Yeah.
I can't recall exactly
Okay.
what the people said. But
Gotcha.
I was just kind of scrolling through some stuff the other day, and I came across it and was like, that'd be kind of cool. We could go out there and crash for the night and just go look for some UFOs.
Hell yeah, man.
Because if it stopped there once,
Yeah.
right, you would think maybe that's some sort of path they
Yeah.
follow, maybe.
Do like a little trajectory, like they're trying to get somewhere else, and they just happen to be flying over Stephenville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
Because
so-
it's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, the story that I heard from a friend was that all they saw was just maybe 5 to 8 different dots that were sporadically dancing around in the sky. He said it looked like almost like the path of lightning. You know how it's really unpredictable,
Yeah.
and it happens just really fast. But you could see the trail of the lights, and they were all different colors, like rainbow colored lights, and just sporadically moving around, blah, 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 like really fast. But he didn't say anything about like a large craft or anything. But it said
Well, and the radar picked up 2 different things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And so then the Air Force was like, yeah, we were doing training.
Uh-huh.
But this thing took off, and some of the eyewitnesses were saying, yeah, it took off, and then it was followed by 2 F-16s.
Right.
And so that thing, it flew at like 7,000 miles an hour. They tracked it.
That big ass thing.
That big ass.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
dude.
4 football fields long. I was listening to another guy. Shout out to Clyde Lewis again, Ground Zero. A caller called in, and he said he saw a UFO that was like 8 stories tall. It was almost like a cube. It looked like a skyscraper. And it was
Damn.
just floating through the sky. And I've heard reports of these like, building type UFOs. They look almost like buildings.
Huh.
And it's just got like a crazy little, glow to it. But he said it was huge.
What?
And it made like this roaring, rumbling sound through the air, which is weird because usually you hear about them not making any noise.
Right, yeah.
But this thing, he said, sounded like a train.
What?
And he woke up because the noise was so loud, and his wife was like, what's going on? And so he went outside to check it out, and he was like, and there's like this 8-story flying object just flying through the sky.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, and what makes me think of that anomaly that was happening, I think it was like in Chicago or somewhere up north, where people were hearing these low rumble noises at night.
Yeah.
Do you
It
remember
sounded
that?
like almost like horns or something in the sky, and then like they
it's
would
like-
hear like a grumbly sound. Yeah, dude. Apparently that happens all over the world,
Maybe
but
that's just
nobody can
these-
figure it out.
Maybe that's just these craft flying around and you can't see them because they're above the clouds or something.
Could be it.
Or maybe they're in stealth mode and you can't see, you're seeing straight through them.
Yeah.
And they're just like sitting next to your house.
Yeah, it could be
trying to
it.
get some McDonald's.
Yeah,
They're like in the line,
Yep. It's like nobody next to you, but then you hear, "Can I get a number 3? No onions. Let me get a Sprite. No, a Coke. No. Make that a Coke. I'm sorry, a Coke.
Can you get a Happy Meal? Wait. 2 Happy Meals?
It's always funny because like sometimes Amanda will go through there, and they'll be like, yeah, can I get a Happy Meal? We'll get the nuggets. And then they're like, do you
She
want
gets the Happy Meal.
Yeah, they're like, do you want the apples or the yogurt? And we'll be like, can we just get more fries? Like, like we're like just stuffing our kid's face full of fries. And I'm like, man, they think we're shitty parents because they're offering yogurt and apples. And we're like, no, we just need more fries.
Need more fries, man.
Can you make it a large fry?
Do you
Little Timmy's hungry.
Little Tim.
Tim.
Tim Taru. Do y'all still get the toy with it?
Yeah, she does. Yeah. It comes with it. I mean, we don't ask for it or nothing. Yeah. But if they forget to put it in there, we will turn around and go get it.
I made my parents do that so much growing up, dude.
I forgot my toy.
Because I used to have long hair, and they used to mistake me for a girl. They would give me the girl toy. I had a chili bowl growing up, and they used to give me the fucking girl toy.
Dude, that's hilarious.
I'd cry. I was a little kid.
Man, remember when the Power Rangers movie came out and they had the little belts with the little coins?
Yes.
That was sick, dude.
Yes.
Man,
Oh, dude, I had so many little action figures of Power Rangers. They're the one where you press the little button on their back and their arm went like this.
Yeah, dude. Yes. It had like the Megazord, and it was sweet. You could collect them all and put them together. That was dope.
Damn, yeah. I never got. We didn't go to McDonald's. They would let me go to McDonald's.
Well, no, that was like you could go to Walmart and buy like the actual toys, and then like, if you collected them all, you could put them together and build the Megazord. That was pretty sweet.
The Monopoly thing at McDonald's. Oh yeah, are they still doing that?
They still have it like once a year.
Dude, I remember eating so much McDonald's one summer.
Yeah,
I got so close to like filling out the board. I was so close, dude.
I mean, I'll peel them off.
No one's ever gonna get it.
Yeah, you gotta like travel around.
Yeah, I feel like
to get all the pieces.
Definitely.
Because I'll end up getting like 30 yellow pieces, and it's only like the same two.
Yeah.
And then like
it's like enjoy a free box of fries on us.
Yeah.
With like 30 yellow.
Like a drink with purchase.
Yeah, with purchase.
You're like, damn, I still gotta buy something.
Man.
You know that drink only costs you 8 cents.
True.
Just give it to me.
Probably less than that, dude. Jesus.
Yes, that's pretty awesome. Dude, did you know Buckethead wrote the theme song to Power Rangers?
No.
Yeah, Buckethead did the intro theme song. That's why it's so sick.
What?
Yeah.
It is a really sick intro song.
Yeah, it is. That guitar, he's just shredding it. But yeah, it's Buckethead that wrote that.
What?
That's pretty cool. That's
I didn't
a fun
know
little
that.
fact.
Fucking Buckethead, man. He's everywhere.
Fact.
So I always kind of confuse Buckethead with Wunderschlauch.
No, Buckethead, the KFC funeral. With the KFC bucket on his
Got
head.
it.
He's got the mask.
You know who I'm talking about? Slash?
No.
The episode of South Park, they make a Slash into like this mythical figure where he's kind of like Santa Claus, or anybody could be Slash at like birthday parties and stuff. And
dude, I never get your references. You watch so much weird shit.
It's because like, it's all from South Park.
South Park, Tim and Eric, old SpongeBob, like every one you've brought out, I haven't known what it is.
Well, you always go along with it. I appreciate it.
No worries, man. No worries.
All right, so Stephenville. I mean, I don't really know much more about the Stephenville thing, but I mean, it's like a famous Texas UFO sighting that has happened in like the most recent times. And I mean, you talk to anybody that's from Texas, they've heard of, or even knows somebody that was there, or they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that witnessed it. Like it's definitely like a really important.
Maybe one day we can get like 2 or 3 people together that witnessed it, right?
Yeah,
and then just go up there and interview all 3 of them.
Dude, that'd be
and
awesome.
Just throw it up on the podcast or something.
Hell yeah, do like a little episode.
Yeah, like a little episode.
Video episode.
That'd be cool.
We'd have to just film it on our iPhones because we haven't sold enough shirts yet.
I have an Android.
Okay, well, we got one iPhone. We'll have an Android version and an iPhone version.
All right. Yeah, dude, that would be pretty sick. Mm-hmm. And then that night, just go UFO hunting.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
It would be like one of those episodes of, like UFO Hunter.
Yeah.
But with 2 dudes, like, just
way more goofy. As if it could get any more goofy, then we would make our own episode.
Yeah.
We'd be like, hey, what are you doing?
So are you're from Stephenville, or
so like you saw it or what? So like what like did you see or something?
So you're from Stephenville?
Was it big? Could you hear it? Did it smell like anything?
Did it smell? I was gonna say that.
By the way, what's your name? Like 30 minutes into the interview.
Right, yeah.
Wait, hold on. What's your name? We'll have to edit this in.
And we won't.
We'll totally forget.
Yeah. We'll have like the little title screen at the bottom, but it's like, we don't know his name yet. Like halfway through the video.
It'll say UFO Garage Podcast interview with ...
Coming soon. Up next.
TBD.
No, it'll just say, dude.
We should do the dude episode.
The dude episode?
The dude episode.
Like the Big Lebowski?
That'd be sick.
That would be sick, dude. Let's interview. I bet he's seen some shit out in California.
Or we could just record an episode where we're both wearing like bathrobes and drinking White Russians. That'd be a sweet
I
episode.
love White Russians.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Let's do that. But yeah, dude. Yeah, sorry, we don't know more about this Stephenville thing, but but that is kind of cool, you know. Yeah. I thought that that part where somebody visited that man's house was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Basically showed up to his door, and the guy had a gun in his hand, but the guy who showed up to his door was like, we got a lot, we got the same caliber weapons as you, just with a lot more ammunition. You better shut your mouth. Yeah. You didn't see anything.
Yeah. I wonder if that dude was in like a black suit or something.
Maybe, dude.
I would love to talk to that guy that had the guy come to his house.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to talk to that guy.
Yeah. His name...
It's not on there.
It was not on there?
Yeah.
Well, we could talk to Alan.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Hold
on. What did it say?
Alan said, hey, from around here are you boys?
I don't know if it was a biblical experience or somebody from a different universe or whatever, but it was definitely not from around these parts.
I want to talk to Alan.
I want to talk to Alan, dude. I'm just guessing that's what he sounds like. That's
probably.
Maybe.
I mean, that's not far off.
Yeah. That's how most of my family talks.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah, dude. That's I mean, out in Stephenville. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of Texan or Southern accent, you sent me Calvin Parker.
Calvin Parker, yeah.
Calvin Parker's going to be at...
Dude, he's going to be at the UFO Congress.
UFO Congress, dude. Holy shit.
That's going to be cool.
You should try to talk to him.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Let's do it. Oh, my God. I love that guy. I want to be friends with him.
Yes.
Maybe if we show up with a Happy Meal, he'll want to talk to us.
Hey, Calvin, we're shaking a Happy Meal in the background. We're just like prairie dogging behind all these people. Calvin, hey, hi. Dude, hey, Calvin Parker, dude.
Hey, dude,
can we talk to you?
It's us. He's like, okay, and then we were like in a room with him. We're like,
hey,
did you see it? Dude, did you smell anything?
Did you smell it? Oh shit! No. And then you get this Happy Meal after you finish the interview.
Yeah,
right? It better be good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's pretty much all we know about Stephenville.
Yeah.
Let's go into Mars a little bit. So you've seen the same thing I have about Corey Goode. Corey Goode, just an intro for Corey Goode. I know we've both mentioned him a few times on this episode, and his story's so massive. Like, it's just hours and hours. We mentioned this before, but he's an insider. He's one of David Wilcock's insiders. He has been for a number of years, and he appeared on this show called Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia. And he kind of just goes in on his whole story, but I guess for this purposes, like, it would be a really long podcast if we did the whole story. Like, just to focus on the Mars stuff.
Yeah, we'll focus on the Mars stuff. There's a lot to it, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, remember in the last one we were like, so who are the Resistance?
Uh-huh.
Are these guys the Resistance?
The Alliance.
The Alliance.
I think so, yeah. The secret space program, or what Corey was later brought into.
Well, basically, all these guys, like, on the Disclosure, like, are they the Alliance?
Oh, that's
and they
a good
just
question.
haven't, like, put out, like, we're the Alliance,
right?
You know, just like all those other guys aren't like, yeah, we're the Cabal,
right?
You know, you just kind of have to, like, piece it together, and you're like, oh, these people are part of the Cabal. These people must be part of the Alliance.
Yeah. Dude, I've never thought about that. Absolutely, I think they're part of the Alliance. They have to be.
I want to be part of the Alliance, dude.
Yeah, me too, man.
Man. Hey, if you guys are listening, me and Ben want to be part of the Alliance too.
Part of the Alliance,
can we be part of it? They're like, no, not at all.
Maybe we already are, just doing what we're doing.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe there's no initiation.
Hell yeah, you just made me feel really good.
Yeah, or maybe we already are a part of the Alliance, and we're just trying to act like we're not, so we don't get targeted.
Ooh.
So it's like, we're like double sevens.
We're going to get... we're gonna get something in the mail.
Yeah. It's like a handprint on a piece of paper. It says, "We know."
We know.
But it's like the four finger handprint.
Or what if we go to McDonald's and we get Happy Meals and there's a note inside instead of the toy?
Dude, yeah. Dude. And it's like an invitation to the Marriott Hotel.
That'd be sick.
The ballroom.
That'd be sick.
And then we show up and it's Ronald McDonald.
No. But so anyways, dude, like I don't know. I think they are part of the alliance.
I think they are too, man. I've never thought about that before.
Uh-huh.
So Corey Goode's story about Mars, it starts it's like season 2 episode 8 or something, right? That's what you were talking about. I think that's right.
Yeah, I mean it starts in season 2.
Yeah.
That's just kind of where I got up to, was like episode 8.
Yeah.
But he kind of starts getting into it when he starts talking about the Germans and how they had already had access to the moon. They were already going to the moon
in the 1920s, right? Starting
in the 1920s.
Yeah.
Right. And so, if you were to talk to this, like with regular people or whatever, that sounds insane, right? Because we didn't even go to the moon till 1969. And even the Project Horizon, late 50s, early 60s, they were like, yeah, we're gonna get this program started. And so I was thinking about that, the Project Horizon.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll save that for whenever we get a little closer to that time period.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. But so the Germans were already on the moon,
but it was like this secret, like shadow government that was in charge of these projects, though, right? It wasn't available to the public.
Yeah, and this is from supposed breakaway civilizations.
Yeah,
right. They were approached by the Garthians, right? And
I thought it was the Draco that approached the Germans.
It is the Draco. The Draco also approached them, but the Draco had more of a evil intention,
right?
About
so the Agarthians. Do you think that has anything to do with our previous episode about Antarctica and Inner Earth talking to? So this is kind of like piecing together a little bit.
Yeah, that's where they live.
Yeah,
and they are blue-eyed, blonde-haired people of another civilization. The Draco. Right, the reptilians, the Draco. They talk about shit. Where were they? The Pleiadians and all those guys. They were from. I can't think of that.
The B planet.
Not Proxima. I forget, man. I can't think of that that area that they were from. But supposedly the Draco had destroyed that area. And so they flew away from that area. They settled on Earth, and they came to Earth, and there's 2 parts to Earth. One is the inner Earth, and then the other is the outer Earth.
Yeah.
Apparently, these Agarthians went to war with the Atlanteans.
Okay.
And the Atlanteans stayed on top of the Earth, and they went on ahead and took, the inner Earth.
Because the Atlanteans were further in technology and dominated them. And
Yes. And so the Germans were approached by both of these civilizations, the Dracos and the Agarthians, and they were apparently given pieces of this technology, but they had to like work it out on their own. Right. They had to kind of learn the technology, and from what I understand, they had to kind of prove that they were ready for this technology.
Okay.
Because after a while, they just started giving them stuff. But before they just started giving them stuff, they gave them pieces, and they gave them little maps. And so they had to go to these different places on Earth and uncover all this technology and stuff, right?
So that's maybe why the Germans went to Antarctica in the first place.
Yes.
Whoa.
Because they had these little scrolls. They were given scrolls, and they had to go and search for all this stuff. And, archaeological digs and whatnot.
Dude.
Yeah. And so they had to go find all these pieces and then kind of put it together. And then once they proved that they were able to handle this technology, then the Dracos started just giving them things after a while.
Shit.
And that's kind of how they advanced through this.
Yeah.
But the United States, right, wasn't anywhere near that.
Wasn't a part of this at all.
Wasn't a part of this at all.
1920s, just Germany. and whatever secret organization they were dealing with. I mean, we've talked about like the underground civilization that was not underground civilization, but the hidden cult like organization that basically was
cabal, right?
the start of the cabal and the Nazis itself. So it could have been them. I don't know if that's who it was, but it sure does sound like it. Sure does kind of fit.
It fits. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering. If,
Yeah.
like, these are the guys who, got the ball rolling,
Right.
basically.
The cabal rolling.
They got the cabal rolling.
So early 1920s, 1930. This is before World War II. They start this breakaway civilization by the Germans. They initially figure out all this stuff, and they start receiving this technology and these ships, and are able to build these ships. And I think they gave them 3 different ships. They, as in the Draco, gave them 3 working alien ARVs, or maybe they were just alien ships, and then they reverse engineered them and made them as ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles. And then they started going to the moon. I guess maybe they were told to go to the moon and to make a base as part of their proving themselves or something. Because he's still
maybe because the Draco were all about conquering. They wanted to conquer everything.
Yeah.
The Lyrian civilization, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about?
Yes. That whole civilization, they destroyed it and they conquered it.
Okay.
And so all these different, races, they broke off.
Damn.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Yes, the Pleiadians and the Agarthians and all the other blonde-headed, blue-eyed civilizations.
Okay.
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay, got it.
The
Nice.
Lyrian civilization.
I'm glad you thought
there
of
you
it.
go. I
Yeah.
thought of it finally.
Damn.
Yes.
So they give the Dracos give the Germans these craft and all this technology, and they're able to go to the moon and start building a base. For some reason, he's not clear on why they go to the moon, but they do. They want to expand
Because the moon was kind of like an outpost for many different civilizations.
Okay,
he says
so
it's
that's why.
it wasn't just the Dracos, but there was multiple civilizations on the moon, and also it wasn't just the Agarthians and the Draco. Apparently, they had contact with other civilizations as well. We just don't know who they are.
Whoa.
He didn't specify who they were. He just
Okay.
said that these were like the 2 main groups.
Got it.
But apparently, the tall whites have a lot to do with our military and this kind of military industrial complex thing as well.
Okay.
So they're kind of I don't know if they're like the Draco, where they're kind of a conquering type civilization,
The
but
tall whites?
but they're not really like trying to be our friend or anything.
Okay.
Apparently.
Yeah. I mean,
They make deals with them.
right.
Right,
Trade.
and that's the only way that they leave them alone, basically.
Okay.
But they have a lot to do with like our weapon systems and the nuclear technology and this and that. So
Okay. So then, so they get to the moon, and they find this like ancient builder race monolithic structure in the shape of a swastika. And this was before the Nazi Party, right?
right, this is before the
You
Nazi
were saying?
existed. Yeah.
What were you saying about the charges that were?
Yeah, so before they even got up there and they wanted to build this base, somebody had already been to the moon and knew that there was going to be an outpost built in a certain spot before the Germans even did it, and they placed charges under the ground, right? But when the Germans got there and they found this swastika shape, right? They also found the eagle. That's part of their emblem.
Really?
They found the eagle and the swastika emblems all over the place. And I think that's how the Nazis got their symbolism.
Whoa.
Was from what they found on the moon originally.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Damn.
That's my thoughts on that.
I mean, it fits.
Yeah, and this stuff was there thousands of years before they even went to the moon.
Maybe
in the
even
20s.
millions of years.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. I think that dating mechanism that they had where they could date things, it wasn't carbon dating like we would do it.
Uh-huh.
It was a different type of technology where they could like actually, it wasn't dating how old, it was dating time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we could date the time. So he was saying it was thousands, thousands of years before. He wasn't specific on how many thousands of years.
Yeah.
But like time period.
Maybe it's like this device that kind of compares different timelines and sees which timeline. Okay, so this structure exists in this timeline at this time period, and then you could kind of see or maybe detect what other timeline this is not there, and then they kind of subtract from there to figure out a time.
Yeah.
You know, and in this timeline, like a difference in time in this timeline. I don't know, I'm just kind of speculating.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But the Germans tried to build a lot of different bases out there, but they were using techniques that we use here on Earth.
Yeah.
To build concrete and things like that and try and build a base, and it just wasn't working. And finally, they figured it out, and they got a little post, and they built it on the moon.
Yeah. And then they went underground too. Like they dug underground, and it wasn't just on the surface, right?
Right. It wasn't just on the surface. Most of it was underground.
And he said Corey said there was maybe a couple dozen, maybe 36 to 48 different people that were on this moon. It was a pretty small outpost at the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, man, just think how hard that would be with our technology to put a base on the moon. Not only just build it, but just support life and be able to pressurize the inside of a structure and make sure that there's no air leaks. And I mean, man, it just sounds impossible. But what makes sense is that, oh yeah, they just had better technology and just better building materials. And I don't know, that's where I get caught up too, is like thinking about the bulldozers or the things that they use to build the things, and where did they build those things?
I mean, I don't know, but I do know that you look at, here on Earth, I mean, we have ancient building techniques that we use all the time. There's people who build, cob houses and things like that, and it's all done by hand.
Right.
Like you walk down the streets of Europe, of like old Europe, and you see all these old houses, and they were constructed from hay bales and mud just slapped on it, and they're extremely sturdy.
And they're like three stories tall.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I guess I was more, I don't know, maybe not a rhetorical question.
He did say that they learned how to pressurize one of the original bases that was already there.
Really?
And so it was kind of a starting point. They were able to hold up there and kind of figure some stuff out before they built their own base.
Yeah.
But they also had to get rid of these other species, I guess, or creatures that they found.
Right. Yeah, they like clear out these nests as they were digging down further into the moon's surface. They would come across these nests. Oh, that sounds so derogatory. Nests. Yeah. Dude, it sounds like they're pests or some kind of thing. But apparently they would shoot off these nuclear bombs that were, it's called a Gen 5 bomb, a Generation 5 nuclear bomb that was self-contained, and it didn't leave a lot of radiation. You just have to like spray it down.
Right.
But it like expanded into this bubble and then just collapsed in on itself and got rid of all the space inside the molecule. So it's almost like a dwarf star, where at the end of it, all you get is this little tiny pebble of matter, where you like explode all this rock and these bodies, and then it just collapses.
Sucks everything in and contracts.
That is insane to me. Like, if that technology is real, like that, that's some fucked up shit.
That's worse than a nuclear bomb.
I know.
It's cleaner.
Yeah.
But that's worse than a nuclear bomb,
bro. Because so in that sense, it's like, okay, they as in like, I don't know, some people that say that aliens are a huge threat to us. That bomb does not sound like we're defenseless against ourselves.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah.
Like it sounds like, I mean, we cleared out a bunch of, or not we, but the Germans cleared out a bunch of aliens already on the moon. Like, maybe we're not so defenseless.
Yeah, I think we do have stuff to defend ourselves against the extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
And I think they know it.
Yeah.
I think they know it. But at the same time, dude, I don't want to be on the bad guys team.
I know,
and that's what's running everything, is the bad guy team right now.
It sucks.
I don't want to be part of that. So when they come down here to start whooping ass and stuff, like, how do we say, hey, I don't want to be on this team?
Yeah, how do we justify it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have nothing to do with this.
And I'm kind of trying, I mean, maybe we'll get to this question at the end, but do you think right now we're on the good side or bad side? Maybe we'll get to that question at the end of this story, but
yeah,
I don't know where I sit right now, honestly. But anyway, so So let's go through the timeline a little bit. So we're colonizing the moon. Germany's colonizing the moon, and then World War II happens.
Right.
Project Paperclip happens, and High Jump happens, and
we defeat the Axis powers.
Axis power, yeah. And then German forces fall. The Nazi party gets eliminated, and then we take control of 1,600 different physicists and scientists through Project Paperclip. Mm-hmm. And then High Jump. I don't know a lot about High Jump.
Yeah, I always get it confused because I know that there was like I think a jump room project, and I always get them confused.
Yeah.
One was where they were able to like jump to Mars in like 8 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if High Jump and Jump Room had anything to do with each other.
Well, so what Corey Goode is claiming is that the method in which the Germans got all this materials, these building materials, and these these tanks and people up to the moon was through these naturally occurring portals that happen all over the world all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what he said, that they harnessed these. That was one of the pieces of information that the Draco gave to them, is they gave them coordinates, and I guess they figured out where the coordinates of these portals would show up, and then they would kind of show up in this little bubble and then push all their stuff on through the portal, and it would show up on the moon right where they wanted it to be. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
it's kind of
it's like a 360 sphere.
Yeah,
where
you're
you
right.
Could, like
like
people,
a bubble.
you could like enter in one point, and people would exit at another point. But at any point, you could like enter this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was super interesting.
And he says it feels like you collapse in on yourself, and then you appear instantly in another area. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they would give them shots and stuff because it felt like if you were to put like a huge magnet near your body, and you would get real sick.
Right.
You would feel sick. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're a biological, like a human, and it would make you really feel sick. And that was another story that corroborated with a bunch of other insiders that have been through this portal technology, is that they all say the same thing, that they get really nauseous and sick and just dizzy after jumping through these portals. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's what High Jump is. I don't know. We have to look into it.
Everybody talks about the Iraq War and stuff like that, and super, unjustified. Like, did they have weapons of mass destruction? People say no. Some people are like, well, yeah. I mean, some of that stuff is weapons of mass destruction and blah blah blah. People go back and forth, but the story is that in that area is one of these portals. And so that's why we went there, was to secure this area in the Middle East where these portals actually exist. Because he also talks about how in Turkey there's a few civilizations that are kind of Draco run, I guess, still. And so he's like, there's some bad dudes that live in that area. So, if you're out in the Middle East, that's really why we went there in the first place, was to go secure these spots.
Secure these
because we didn't want anybody else to have this technology. So we knew that Saddam Hussein knew about this, and they didn't want him to acquire more technology by using this portal and contacting these other civilizations. And so that's why we went there.
Dude, I've never heard that.
It had nothing to do with anything else. That's why there's so much speculation and, well, was it justified? Was it not justified? This and that. That's why they went there.
Dude, it kind of falls in line with what we've been talking about for a while, is that what's the reason that our government would not want to disclose that aliens exist, and then we have all this awesome technology. And what we talked about is that, well, yeah, if we gave the public all this technology, then our economy would collapse.
Right.
It just kind of falls in line with, like, maybe that's why we are not allowed to know about this high technology. Mm-hmm. It's just more and more that I hear about from insiders, and including this story and that story you just told me. It's like ever more clear that that's probably the most plausible reason that we're not allowed to know about this technology. Because if we did, then we'd know that our economy is bullshit. There's a way better way to do everything.
And it may be dangerous, but do you think if we did find out that there's a such thing as free energy and a way to teleport around the universe, do you think our economy matters at that point?
Nope, I don't think it does matter, and that's
So
why the elite wants it to exist, because they're living like kings and queens. They're royalty. They get to enact laws that they don't have to follow themselves. They want to stay where they're at. They have some pretty awesome lifestyles.
I mean, I'm sure that there would be some time that went on where people were like, oh shit, like my AC doesn't work anymore, like I can't buy Nikes, or I can't drive my car or nothing, because that's your state of mind, that's all you know, right? But it would take people time to figure out how to utilize this new information.
Yeah.
So I guess that would hurt up front, probably.
Yeah.
Just people having to learn all this new information and technology, and like, well, how do I use this?
Yeah, well, even if we did know about it, if say we just knew about it, there's no way we could actually harness it, or it would be available. That's Elon Musk's whole platform, is that it doesn't matter who invented what, it's who made it available to the public is what matters. That's why he favors Edison over Tesla. Because Edison he didn't invent a lot of stuff. And he admits that. He's like, he stole about a lot of different technologies from a lot of different people and claimed it his own. But what he did, Edison, was make it available to the public. And that's what is more important to Elon Musk.
I wonder why he wants to nuke Mars.
I don't know. I saw about I didn't read the article, but I saw that headline.
Do you think Elon knows something about what's up on Mars? Like,
probably.
I
think he does, personally, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no proof behind it, but I think so.
He might know something.
I think he knows some shit.
He might know some shit,
for sure.
Totally.
All right. So let's get back to the timeline.
Okay.
We went off a little tangent. So high jump, and then so after World War II, Project Paperclip, all this happens. The USA and Germany signed this treaty under Truman and Eisenhower. Basically, what Corey is saying is that the Germans coveted the USA's military-industrial complex. I mean, the way that we're able to use our whole population to and set up these factories to make military weapons, military grade planes and tanks and all that stuff.
Our industrialization, like our power, our might.
Yeah.
We were able to take down the Axis.
Right.
They didn't have the infrastructure anymore to do this.
Yeah.
So they were like, whoa, if the United States can do that, while the Germans have this technology,
join forces.
Yeah. What can we do? And it's not that it's not that the Germans were like, hey, let's join forces with the United States. It was the military-industrial complex.
Right.
When we say that word, most people go to, America's war machine.
Right.
But it's not America's war machine. That's a world war machine, basically.
Yeah.
It is
it's why we're the most successful.
Yeah. The military-industrial complex just chose the United States to kind of, spearhead this thing from now on.
Right.
So, the military-industrial complex belongs to everybody. They just chose the United States.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how I took it, because they had originally chosen Germany.
Oh.
Yeah, the military-industrial complex originally had chose Germany, and then they were like, "Oh, well, you got your ass kicked." Well, I got an idea.
But America had already established its industry way before then. I mean, it started in like with Gerald Ford, really.
Yeah, but we didn't have that technology, right?
Yeah.
But it's the fact that we were able to keep up and then go stomp their asses.
Yeah,
that the military-industrial complex was like, "Ooh."
It makes me
Let's
feel
take
like
this technology and move it to America so we can mass produce it quicker, better, more money, dollar signs, basically.
And so how do you get a whole nation to get behind building these technologies and these vehicles and all that stuff without ever letting them know what it's actually for? That's what baffles me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is because if this story is absolutely true, it's like okay, our whole nation, which, I mean, it makes me proud to be a part of America in that sense, is like, yeah, we were just the best at working together.
Yeah.
Which there's a positive message in that, is that's why we're so successful in our industrial, so the military industrial complex isn't just a military thing. It's all the industries in the warehouse and all the civilians that worked in these factories, right? It's not just people that are in the military.
I think the way that they're able to do it is, take like fiber optics, right? The public gets goofy lamps and shit, right? That's our knowledge of fiber optics, but really they're honing that technology, right? You get an iPhone. Mm-hmm. That's a cool piece of technology. Yeah. But we just take pictures of our dick, right? And like and food and we just say dumb shit on it, right? Because we're stupid. But that technology could be way more powerful. So that's the point. They're building consumerism and feeding it to us so they can hone that technology. Right. And they're like, oh, look at what we can do with this. Right. They're using us as lab rats. They come up with cool stuff, flat screen TVs, and like, oh,
and we're just beta testers.
Yeah, we're just testing the equipment while they improve and hone that technology. And that's really how they get away with it being a secret.
Dude.
Right?
My mind just went. Jesus Christ. Dude, I loved that. Man, that was really great.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, yeah, it all fits. Again, I know fits is like the overarching concept in this episode, I feel like, because a lot of things are coming together with this story. Mm-hmm. And after listening to it the second time, I've already said this like twice already, but it more and more, everything's starting to kind of puzzle piece together, man. Yeah. And it's cool to see. It's kind of like an aha moment. But anyway,
Eureka!
Yeah, dude. So Germany comes to America and says, hey, we've got this technology. You've got the infrastructure here on Earth to make all this stuff. We need your facilities and your manpower to make this breakaway civilization. But it's all done in secret.
Yeah.
And this is after World War II.
It's kind of a crazy thought. Sorry. How we didn't really get rid of the Nazis. We just absorbed them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, absolutely.
So we didn't really just destroy the Nazis. We just were like, let's team up.
Absolutely.
It's kind of fucked up to think about.
I mean, a lot of them went to like Argentina and shit, but we got the best of the best of the best from the Nazi party.
Yep.
I've never really thought about it that way. We did just absorb them.
Or we
like just a fucking amoeba.
Yeah, man. We just became the Nazis.
Oh my God.
You know, that's really what happened.
Oh, shit.
Which,
Well, I'm about to get a knock on our door. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an American, all right? You know what I'm saying? Like, America, fuck yeah, right? But that's not to say that America doesn't do some pretty messed up stuff. And that wouldn't surprise me if that's part of it.
Yeah. I mean, we're just speaking about fact here.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is that we did absorb a lot of Nazis. A shit ton of them.
And they created NASA. They got us to the moon.
Yeah.
They helped us make satellites, communication systems, physics. They did everything.
Yeah.
They did everything.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And, yeah, it's nuts, dude. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of speechless. Like, when you really get down to it, you just get kind of speechless about it. You're like, oh, I kind of feel gross, but like,
I know.
Like, we're just riding on the coattail of Nazis, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Like, yeah. I mean, what we had Edison, and he just stole a bunch of shit, right? You're just saying, like, yeah, we had Edison. Oh, yeah, cool.
I mean, yeah, he found out some people were making. I mean, the creator of the video camera was a African American gentleman that created it years before Edison said, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take that now."
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, and there's nothing he could do.
Yeah,
which is terrible. But I mean, he got it out to the public.
Yeah,
which is ultimately, I mean. It sucks to say, but it just sometimes takes a fucking asshole to get it out, get technology out to the public. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
but I'm not saying that I'm on Edison's side. I'm definitely on the other guy's side. But I don't know. We're just talking about Nazis in America, and that's the trickle down effect of cause and effect. And you just
when you just start piecing it together, you're like, oh, it's because of a Nazi. Okay,
yeah,
like damn it,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so
where are we at on this timeline?
Fuck, I'm like bummed out now. Yeah, shit. Okay, breakaway civilization. Germany comes to America. Blah blah blah. So along the same timeline that Truman and Eisenhower signed this treaty to work with Germany in secret on these projects, a organization starts up called the ICC, and it stands for Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, and it's made up of all the Rockefeller, the Bilderberg, the huge banking, the old money bloodline from Europe.
The Morgans, the Bushes,
exactly. Prescott Bush, dude.
Yep. Yeah.
He's a part of that. I mean, there's. Also, let's talk about real quick while we're talking about World War II. The Prescott Bush and him working with the Nazis to build their stuff. Like Ford built their tanks.
Yeah, Ford building their tanks,
and that's declassified documents. You can look for it. That America helped to build most of Nazis. The Nazis' planes and tanks and guns,
and
weapons.
then we sent our people to go die
and fight them
with
the same kind of shit.
Yeah,
but okay.
And they profited from both sides of that.
But so I mean, just to let this be known that the automobile was actually invented in Germany, but Ford like mass produced it.
Yeah,
so that's there is a difference. Yeah,
that's the difference.
It's not that Ford made the first automobile, but it's the mass producing and the manpower and the industry behind it. But that's a fact that we funded, and we're not funded, but we got paid. We definitely got paid for it.
Yeah,
but we built their army. And unknowingly built their army.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can unknowingly build the enemy's army, can we not unknowingly build a secret breakaway civilization that's way highly advanced?
We absolutely can. We absolutely can.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about it.
So yeah, this interplanetary corporate conglomerate is made up of all these bankers, and that's who basically funded this secret space program.
Yeah,
and that's what's and that's where I go back to, like, is Corey Goode a part of the secret space program? I mean, he definitely worked for them,
right.
But is that part of the alliance? Is that the same thing? I don't know. I'm confused on it.
And not only that, though, but like the Germans, what really got their attention was that the fact that not only did the Germans already make it to the moon, but they had also been to the asteroid belt. And had been mining the asteroid belt, and said, hey, there's a lot of rare minerals and things that are in these asteroids.
Right.
We found some stuff from this builder civilization. I want to find out who this builder civilization is.
I know, man.
Who's
me too.
building all this stuff?
So that's what sweetened the pot for America to sign this treaty, because Eisenhower was really not wanting to. We just fought you guys.
Yeah.
But they said, hey, we've been mining these asteroids for a couple of years now, and there's gold and platinum, and that's what kind of sweetened the deal, because the government on the surface saw these money signs, or these money symbols, and that's why they signed the treaty.
They were like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Scotty.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, man. All right, so what's just looking at my notes here.
And before Eisenhower left office, one of the last things he said was, beware of the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
He warned everybody.
Right.
He warned us.
Yeah. And that was on his way out, right? That was like one of his last years.
Mm-hmm. On his way out. And now we're like, yeah, dude, iPhones.
So also within this treaty, the Americans said, hey, well, you got all this technology. We want some. Mm-hmm. But the Germans were like, okay, yeah, we'll give you some. But they, in reality, held on to most of the technology. They just gave us 3 different ships, 3 different size Vimanas that were already ARVs. Like, they had already, it was an alien reproduction vehicle made out of, like, the propulsion system was pretty crude to what they actually had at the time.
Yeah.
Like, it had to do with a centrifuge of really highly electrically charged. I think it was it zinc?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of what it was they used.
It wasn't zinc. Mercury. Maybe.
Mercury. That's right. Yeah. Yes.
So when you spin mercury in a centrifuge really, really fast and highly electrolyze it, or I don't know what it is.
Like super electrified.
Yeah, electrified.
Electrified mercury.
It like creates this bubble, but it's really unstable. But they gave these 3 ships to America, so they're like, "Oh, we got these toys, so we'll play with them." So they're like, "All right, cool." But in reality, Germany kept most of the technology for themselves,
all the cool stuff.
Yeah,
and like we actually figured out how to reverse engineer it. Right, we figured out how to fly it, and we were doing it. We were already going out there and doing it.
And this was by that time. So that happened in 1945. So what happens in 1947, as we're test flying these crafts? 1947 is Roswell.
Roswell.
That kind of fits, doesn't it?
Yep, sure does.
I don't know, man.
Sure does.
I don't know, man.
Ooh-wee. Yeah,
it all kind of falls in line.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. It's that's pretty crazy that. We like, I'm sure people listening to this are still like, wait, Germans were on the moon in the 20s? Like they're still at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
This is some crazy things, but there are multiple people who all state this as being true.
Yeah. And just because CNN isn't talking about it, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, this fucking sounds insane. Like we probably sound like really, really crazy. And do you believe in this completely 100%? May I don't know.
I mean, there's some pretty wacky stuff, but at the same time, dude, I mean, if you're a young civilization and you're coming up, maybe you did meet something, right? The whole reason that we're into this is because we're into extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
Right? So why does it matter at what time period you meet an extraterrestrial?
Right, yeah. Why does it have to fit the narrative that should make sense?
Yeah, like we're going based off of like human progression. We're not going based off of at what time period did somebody meet an extraterrestrial and receive this information.
Right.
Or this technology. And especially if they're a breakaway civilization that is nobody knows about. It's a secret. You're a secret society. Yeah, it makes total sense that you would have this information, right? Because this goes all the way back to kings and emperors and things like that. And these people met the gods. These people acquired this information and technology from the gods because that's how they described it back in the day. And they kept it secret from everybody. What did they call it? Like the basic public, they're called eaters, right? We're just called eaters. And,
really?
And basically you just feed the lower population to continue your progress within your own local small little group.
Keep it going. We need some hands on the wheel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep them happy, keep them fed, keep them entertained.
Right, yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
and they will build the future for you.
Yeah. It fits. Again, it's another thing that if you really, really step back and just disconnect yourself from the status quo and what's crazy and what's impossible. Well, really just think about the word impossible and what's possible. Anything is fucking possible. Oh, just because someone told you only these things are possible doesn't mean that that's the only options. Like there's a lot that we probably don't know about. I mean, it's just, I'm on the same page as that.
I mean, if the universe is infinite, there is no impossibilities.
Yeah.
Everything's probable.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, just very improbable.
Yeah.
But that means that there is a probability that it can happen.
Yeah. And as long as that is a reality, then I feel good about talking about this stuff.
Absolutely.
Number one, it's fun, but I want to get to the bottom of it. And the more and more we look into this stuff, it's beginning to make sense. And it's beginning to be more probable than it is impossible for me.
Isn't it crazy, though, how like the more and more we dig into this, the crazier the shit gets, but the more it makes sense?
Yeah.
It's like if you were to start where we started now,
right,
with regular, just everyday people, they'd be like, get the fuck out of here, right?
Shut the fuck
but like
up.
we have been doing this for so long, and this not just the couple months we've been doing this podcast. I mean, we've been looking into this stuff for years, since we were young teenagers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all the things that we've heard and all the stories that we've collected in our minds and all the things that we've read and videos we've watched, we've gotten to this point to where we're in the most outlandish stage of the stories.
Yeah, we're past Pluto on this right now.
Right. But it's making sense because of all the little things that we've acquired over this journey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why it's making sense. I feel like it's maybe time to talk about our sponsors, because I got to go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh, yeah, go for it, dude. Okay. Go for it. I'm wearing this sweet Abduction 51 t-shirt, 100% cotton, so make sure you don't dry it on high heat or that bitch is going to shrink. But, yeah, dude, it's super comfy. I love it. These guys are one of our sponsors. Go to Abduction 51 and check out all their cool products. I mean, you can even go to UFOGaragePC.com, click on the link, and it'll shoot you right over to their website. And if you do decide you want to get some stuff, which I really hope you do, because, I mean, why wouldn't you, right? Make sure to use the promo code UFO Garage, and it's spelled just like it sounds, UFO Garage, all one word, and you'll get 10% off of your purchase. Also, guys, Dr. Squatch, some of the best damn soap I've ever used. I made a post yesterday. Here in Texas, it's been over 100 degrees for over 30 days straight. I do outside kind of work. I get super filthy, super dirty. This soap is awesome. It's an all-natural soap. They've got bricks of soap. They got shaving creams, shampoos, conditioners. They even got koozies because warm beer sucks. And you can also go to UFO Garage PC for that as well. And click on the link, and that's 10% off of that as well. Is that what it is?
Yeah, both. Yeah, both are 10% off.
Cool. And so if they click on that link, does that automatically take them to a 10% off?
Yes, it's like a different iframe. It's a portal that basically sets up their own version of the website.
Oh, okay.
And it automatically applies it.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about Dr. Squatch,
yeah,
right?
Dr. Squatch. Yeah.
On Abduction 51, they actually have to enter the code.
Enter the promo code,
at
right.
checkout. Like after you click on your item and then you go to like buy it and then go to the checkout, and then it'll have a little space for the promo code.
Yeah. But Dr. Squatch. I totally believe in this product 100%.
I know you do.
There's a few
it.
things that like I get super amped up about them. It's weird that soap would be one of them, but taking a bath is something I do every single day, guys. And I'd hope you do too. And why would you use a soap that's just full of chemicals and you rub it on your balls? I mean, that's no good, right?
It's probably full of McDonald's French fry oil, dude.
No way, dude. No.
no, not Dr. Squatch. It's the other soaps.
Oh, yeah. This stuff is nasty, bro.
People getting too many Happy Meals and using those leftovers to make soap out of it.
Yeah.
Dude.
No, but I love this soap, man. They got like, I don't know how many different scents, but it's a lot. And they all do different things. Like this last bar I opened is exfoliating soap. You can feel it. You can really feel it.
What if we had our own soap for Dr. Squatch, the UFO Garage soap? What would the scent be?
Oh, it'd be stank.
No! I like that.
Stanky soap.
It's just stank.
The stank bar. But it smells real good.
Damn. It's called stank, but it's like I don't know. It smells like pecans and juniper. Pecans and juniper berries.
Fresh stank.
Fresh stanky stank. Stank doodle in my scoodle.
Stank doodle in my scoodle by Dr. Squatch.
Damn, dude.
That'd be sweet. The funky bar.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I like the funky bar. By the way, I'm ready to get funky tomorrow at the concert.
Dude, we're going to see the Extraterrestrial Brotherhood in the flesh.
I'm so stoked.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go see Mr. George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic. Dude, it's about to get down. Mm-hmm. We're going to get down. Put a glide and a stride and a dip in your hip and come on up to the mothership. They say, is there funk after death? I say, is 7 Up? Yeah. Super funky.
I fucking love
Make
that.
my funk the P-Funk.
That's great.
I want to get funked up.
That's awesome. Get funked up, baby.
One Nation Under a Groove. It's his farewell tour.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you lucked out, dude.
Damn.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be with Fishbone and Dumpster Funk.
What?
Dumpster Funk is dope too.
Dude,
I like them a lot.
that's awesome.
And Fishbone.
Fishbone.
Yeah, Fishbone.
Fishbone, baby.
But
All right, so let's get back to the timeline here.
All right, dude.
We're talking about Mars. Corey Goode's Mars experience with his experience in the secret space program. Mm-hmm. So last we kind of left off. We're talking about the infrastructure in space and Germany's treaty with America, and the fact that we went into business with them in order to get precious metals from these asteroids that they were mining, but also to have this new technology, this alien technology that they had, dominion over, basically.
Yeah.
Because no one was sharing with the U.S. So U.S. said, I want a little bit of fun. So, all right, we'll do that again.
Oh god damn.
Only you could say that stuff.
That's because I'm a Vegas player, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I'm supposed to say goofy shit like that.
So another thing that coincides with this secret space program in the U.S. and Germany is this thing called the brain drain, and I know a little bit about it. And it's what it's this. You can look it up, and there's all kinds of declassified documents on the brain drain, and it's basically America going around to the top physicists and scientists from around the United States and approaching them and saying like, hey, you're awesome at what you're doing. Maybe you're an independent contractor, or you're already working for the government, or you're working for the private sector. We want to hire you for this really secret underground military facility to come and live there, maybe bring your family. And hey, we'll pay you this much. And when these scientists or physicists get to the this underground base, they go through a portal and they shoot out, and they're all of a sudden in a Mars base.
Yep, they go to Mars.
So we were talking about the moon, and now we're talking about Mars. When we started colonizing Mars, so. Mm-hmm. What were you saying about the first couple steps on or first couple like buildings on Mars? We came encounter with like
when we got there, we were like, okay, we need to build some bases, and we built a few bases. A lot of them got destroyed. We just got overrun. It didn't work out. Corey Goode says that we built some like closer to the equator of Mars, but it turns out that was a really bad idea because it gets super sandy. It's really hot, and there's all these storms that happen on Mars. And basically what had happened was like this sand, it starts to create this massive electrical charge. Mm-hmm. So it's basically like dropping an EMP on your base, which wipes out all the electronics and everything that you set up when you got there. So we found out that was a really terrible idea. And also there's other civilizations that already live on Mars. Yeah. Which is kind of a crazy thing. And they're very territorial. One of the things that you had said, right, was about the face on Mars.
Oh, yeah.
And
one of the things that gave Corey's story some validity was David Wilcock had asked him, hey, so you were in Mars, you obviously flown around it, going back and forth between bases. Did you ever see the face on Mars? What do you think about the face? And Corey's like, I've never even heard of the face. I have no idea. No one's ever talked about it. Which, dude, that's like a really famous thing about Mars. Like, it's a very huge anomaly. And the fact that Corey had no knowledge of it even gives his story more credibility to me.
He knows about it now, but when he had went there, he had never heard of the face on Mars.
Right, yeah.
Out in Cydonia is what they call it.
Cydonia.
That's an area on Mars where they see the pyramids,
right,
and they see the face, and there's those obelisks and things like that are built in the area.
Yeah.
And what makes it interesting is that, so the asteroid belt, right, apparently from their sources, they think that it was a large planet that at some time was in the solar system, and that Mars was a moon of this planet.
Okay.
And so this planet, something happened to it, and it broke up into a bunch of little pieces. It kind of just exploded. And we were kind of talking about this a little earlier, but that's how they found like all this, the
precious metals, and
yeah,
all
the
that.
precious metals and things, because it's just like Earth, we got all these precious metals and things like that inside the Earth. Well, it was the same thing with this asteroid belt. It used to be a planet, and something happened to it. And so when it exploded, that's why it's in between, Mars and Jupiter.
Yeah.
It's because it used to be a planet. And on one side of Mars, there's a whole bunch of like craters where like meteors hit it, and it's real scarred and beat up. And then on the other side, it's really smooth. Mm-hmm. Like nothing happened to it. And so
that's the biggest telltale sign. I mean, it only happened on one side.
Yeah.
That's like, that to me tells me it's one explosion or one event.
And so the civilization that lived on there had to get out.
Yeah.
And they landed on Mars.
Yeah.
And Mars used to be a more Earth-like habitable place to live.
Right.
Apparently.
Or they went from the major planet and went straight to Earth. Some people went to Earth.
Also went to Earth.
Yeah. So maybe at that time, like just hypothetically, maybe there's a couple of different breakaway civilizations that were ready to get out of there. And oh shit, there's a big planetary war, or maybe some other species comes and just destroys this planet.
Yeah.
And okay, so yeah, there's maybe a couple of civilizations that are ready to get out of there anyway.
Yeah.
So they go. One goes to Earth, one goes to Mars, one goes to a different solar system.
Yeah, because I mean, like.
And maybe that's the ancient builder race.
Yeah, on the time scale of this stuff, this has been happening for millennia. What we're talking about is like a brief point in history, right? But to us, I mean, this is like, holy crap, that's thousands and thousands of years. But we're talking a millennia. Yeah. Like, this just so happens to be a species that was cruising through our part of the universe. Right? This is just some random occurrence that happened. It just so happened to happen to occur in our solar system.
Right.
And so, this has been happening for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And this is just
over
one little,
and over.
Yeah,
and over.
One little piece of it.
Right.
One civilization comes in, they kind of do their thing, and then another civilization just so happens to be cruising by this part of the Milky Way galaxy and this part of the universe, and is like, hey, I think I like this. I'm gonna take it. Right.
I want that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this, and they come and they go. Right. They get here and then they leave.
Yeah.
And then some other people come and then they leave, right? So, like, we're humans. We live on Earth. At some point, we may decide, let's go. We leave, right?
Yeah.
And then so the next, 1 to 1.5 million years, right? There's going to be people just like you and I sitting here talking about this mysterious civilization
same exact shit
that existed, and that's just what happens, man.
Cyclical.
Yeah.
Dude.
Planets grow, planets die, civilizations exist, they don't exist. You acquire technology, you lose the technology. It's just the process.
Yeah, it's just what happens with intelligent life, I guess.
Yeah,
that's just it's like the end and the beginning. It just kind of happens over and over and over again.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, man. On Mars, you said there's multiple different species already living there when we get there and we start to colonize it. And what Corey says that it kind of happened all at the same time. Like once the moon is kind of not working out all that well, then they start portaling over to Mars and they get there and they really don't. It's like moving to a new neighborhood. They don't really know anybody. And maybe, the neighbors are not so nice.
Yeah, they're super territorial.
Yeah. So they build a base near the equator, doesn't work out. So they move up. So Corey Goode says that there's a sweet spot on Mars. It's like 20 degrees from the north. There's like I guess if you looked at it like a side view from the tip or the North Pole, there's like 20 degrees down is like kind of a habitable zone. And then on the South Pole, the same deal. So you can only build within this little tiny strip on Mars.
I was just thinking of looking at a side view of a sphere.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's like, which side are we looking at? Oh, that's funny.
It's true.
It just popped in my head. Because
the side view.
Because I tried to picture the side view in my head when you said it, and I was like, "Oh, which side are we looking at?" That's hilarious, dude. That's so funny.
Oh, I'm dumb.
But yeah, right in between the North Pole and the equator, there's a sweet spot where you can kind of stay. He says it's a little bit cold, but you can get away with being a little bit cold.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like in this super hot, dense area with all this like electronic stuff happening, and it's just ruining all of your equipment. Everything gets sandy, everything dies because it's like an EMP's going off constantly.
Yeah.
So he says that there's a sweet spot on Mars that you can find.
And then he says there's a race living there already with like reddish skin that are like, they're not confrontational, so they just like, whenever we started to build a new base, like they would just kind of get up and leave.
Yeah, they would just pick up their stuff and move.
Like, what?
They would just go. And apparently they captured a couple of them and, interrogated them, and they said that they were native to Mars. Like they're native to that planet.
Damn.
Which makes me wonder, did something happen between them and the insectoids that live there?
So yeah, what he said, there's a couple different species. There was the Draco, the insectoids, so the Draco is like the reptilians kind of, and then the insectoids are kind of like this mantis kind of bug-looking creatures.
And he said that their technology was like a biotech.
Right,
all the stuff they used was like biotechnology.
The bugs,
they would create like little bugs, like drones or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when there was like a war going on, there would be like these biotech little beings running around.
That's fucking terrifying.
They would fight. Yeah.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, no.
Hell no.
I see why the red natives just stayed away from everybody.
They're like butthole bugs. They go straight for the asshole.
Dude, that suck. That suck.
Watch your butt.
Yeah, but
another thing that he mentions, Corey Goode mentions, is that while this is going on, they're mining these asteroids. So while they're building these bases on Mars, they're mining asteroids, bringing portaling different materials, golds, iron, and platinum, and all this stuff. And David asks him, how are they shipping all this stuff? And he says, Corey says, there were these huge freighters, like size of multiple football fields, and it looked kind of like a big shipping container on the back, and then the front was where the cockpit was like a 45-degree angle where the cockpit was in the window or whatever, and they would drive out fly out to the asteroid belt, land on these huge asteroids, mine into the asteroid because it's really inhospitable on the surface because all these asteroids are hitting each other and all that. So they would drive deeper and deeper inside of it. And that's where they would seek refuge and park these freighters. And once they got loaded up, they would use their what did they call it? It wasn't. He describes it as a torsion field drive, and it's basically exactly what Bob Lazar had said, that it creates this bubble around it where they fall into gravity and they basically show up wherever they want instantaneously, which is, spot on to what Bob Lazar has been saying for years.
Yep.
So, shit.
There's
another.
Yeah, it's cool.
Another coincidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's another specific thing that he went through and talked about how they were shipping these things back and forth. So all the while with this brain drain initiative, they have all these engineers, scientists, physicists living on these Mars bases, building more Mars bases and doing different technological research and building new engines and freighters and different bases and building underground and working with the bugs and the Draco on certain initiatives and trading with those people. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just and
how they would also build stuff on Earth and then use those spherical portals to just move things. Like they could move tanks.
Yeah,
he was like you could move a aircraft carrier through it if you wanted.
Yeah, that's
to.
what he said. Aircraft carrier.
Yeah, he's like, they're just pretty much move whatever you want.
Yeah, it's so specific. But yeah,
but those people that moved, that got sent there, they ended up being slaves.
Right. That's what I was going to go into next. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when these physicists and engineers and these people were promised this awesome job in this military base underground in America, what they actually did was they were portaled to these underground bases in Mars. So they didn't really know if they were in America or not.
Yeah.
Most of them. Mm-hmm. And when they got there, they're like, okay, actually, you're going to be working on this. So you can't leave. You can't see your family. Some of them brought their families and their kids and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was... Corey Goode said he'd been through these bases and it was really depressing. Like people walking around like they were drones, just sad. And he said, right, there was like art on the walls, like they tried to, liven up the place, but it looked like a military facility anywhere you went. You really couldn't tell where you were, but he said it looked really fucking drab.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. Dude, one thing I thought was really interesting was he said that the people who set all this stuff up, one of the stipulations was they said this will not be another 13 colonies.
Oh, right.
This will not be another colonial thing.
Right.
Like what happened in America.
Uh-huh.
All right.
There would be no division like, hey, here's a revolution.
Yeah. No revolution. And I thought it was cool how they were super specific about it. They were like, this is not going to be another 13 colonies.
Yeah. So that's what just gives it validity that they were treated as slaves, because if you let people go off on their own, it just seems like a revolution is inevitable.
We're on Mars. What the hell are they going to do about it?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But then it also helps that, the British had to come over here on ships and it took them months.
Yeah, right.
They could walk through this bubble and
like
instantly be there.
Right.
Just teleport up to Mars.
Yeah. So if there's even a whisper of a revolt, they would be there and be like, all right, here's this awesome gun I'm about to shoot you with. Like, are you sure you want to revolt?
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing they talked about, or Corey talked about, was the weaponry that the guards would have. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like this railgun, but the coils inside it were made of these long strings of bismuth, which I thought was a really specific description of how these things were made.
Yeah.
And they had, so it would shoot like something a little less than a 50 caliber bullet or projectile. So the weaponry I thought was a really awesome specific that he described.
Yeah. Because Corey actually went to Mars.
Yeah.
He actually had to go do some work
right
on the base, apparently.
Yeah. And he witnessed these people walking in lines, and it just looks terrible. These people in these underground bases, dude. Can you imagine?
Dude, that does suck.
Just imagine, like, we're living a pretty dope life right now. We get to do whatever we want. And there's these people that live on another planet. There's a possibility that these people live on a whole different reality than what we do.
Yeah.
And that's fucking scary, dude. That might be another reason that our government doesn't want to fully disclose everything that's going on. Because if we found out that there was literal slavery going on still in this day and age,
other than taxation,
other than taxation. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And jobs are slavery.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we'd probably go nuts here on Earth and be like, that's wrong.
But what would we do about it, though?
Nothing. They would come back here with those tungsten 50 cal guns and kill us with them.
Probably, dude. And those butthole bugs.
Yeah, dude. When you think about it, it's like, there's nothing we could do about it at this point.
Okay, let's keep things happy and light. Happy and light. Yay, aliens.
Yeah, butthole bugs.
Okay, so another thing. That's kind of all I had on the bases on Mars.
Yeah, that's really all as far as I've gotten.
Okay, yeah,
so far. But
another specific question that David asked Corey in this interview was, "Hey, did you know of any other moons or planets that were being colonized in our solar system?" And Corey said, well, yeah, there's a bunch of moons. It's basically just moons around gas giants. And he doesn't really say which moons, but he said there are moons around gas giants. He couldn't really tell which planet was which. whether if it was Jupiter or Saturn. He said it was either Jupiter, Saturn, or Uranus. Uranus.
Come on, dude. You have to say Uranus now. It's got to be Uranus.
And then you go right
now. You're a professional
doctor scientist.
You're a professional doctor scientist podcaster.
You had to get that out of the way.
You must say a Uranus.
Uranus. But yeah, so what really freaked me out is that this interview was released in December of 2015. Who knows when it was filmed? It might have been filmed months earlier and just edited and then released in December. So that date is 2015. So Corey talks about this particular planet that's off limits to the secret space program and any Earthling or the Draco or the bugs. And it's any moon around Saturn. Like, apparently we're not allowed to go anywhere near Saturn. And he describes this moon around Saturn. He knows specifically that's being colonized by someone else in the Confederation or Federation, whatever he calls it. And that's like the good guys or whatever. And it's like comprised of 50 or more different species. And he describes this moon as this icy moon that has geysers shooting out water from the south pole of the moon. And I said, oh man, that sounds really familiar. So I looked up what it was, and it's a moon around Saturn called Enceladus. And it was discovered around 2015, and this article was posted on science.com about this moon that was discovered from, what was the probe that you mentioned earlier that flew by Saturn? I can't remember what it was called.
Oh, was it the Voyager?
I think it might have been. Yeah, it might have been the Voyager. But yeah, it was only discovered around that time, and that article was released in September of 2015, which is a couple months before this interview was shot. But who knows? Like I said, maybe this interview was recorded before that article came out and it was in the public. I had only heard about it until a couple of months ago, dude.
Yeah.
I only heard about it, like in maybe May or June.
But he was talking about this moon
way before
mainstream science even published anything
exactly, about it. Dude. So that's another specific detail that he goes into and describes this moon exactly how it is before it's ever a part of mainstream.
Yeah.
That really kind of gave me chills.
That's cool.
You know, and all the stuff as you're listening to it sounds fucking crazy. And then you hear something like this that's, oh shit.
That's pretty spot on.
That's fucking spot on, dude. A moon around Saturn that's an icy moon, and it has huge geysers pumping out ice and different elements out of the bottom of the moon. Well, that's just fucking nuts to me.
Yeah.
That kind of sold me on it as I'm watching like the end of it or getting close toward the end of it.
Yeah. And also, we were talking about it earlier. I like how, when he gets asked a question that he doesn't know, he says, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure.
Right. And it's like, you can look at him like he's kind of an awkward guy. Like he's not really, not that he's an awkward guy, but he's just uncomfortable in front of a camera. You can tell.
Yeah.
And some people might look at that and say, oh, he's lying. But like you said, if he was making stuff up just to get famous or get the word out that, or go on tour or whatever, he would just make up everything that he was asked. He would say yes to everything. Yeah. But the fact that he says no to a lot of shit is pretty telling that I lean towards, this guy's telling the truth.
And David Wilcock also has other sources that have similar stories.
Yeah.
That he asks questions that he already knows the answer to see if Corey has the same answer or if he's bullshitting or not.
And David also repeats questions often. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty regular interrogation or questioning technique when you're trying to figure out if somebody's lying. If you ask the same question first and then talk about something else and ask that same question a couple minutes later,
you can tell it kind of throws Corey off. Like we just talked.
We just talked about. Yeah. But he says the same thing every single time.
Yeah.
Which definitely. Is, man. So, I mean, now I'm thinking, as we've told you guys about this story, I kind of want to go in on, we kind of already have, but the validity of this story. And I think we're both kind of describing that this guy, it sounds really out there and it sounds fucking nuts, but there's all these little specific details that really make me lean towards this guy's telling the truth for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, just because we don't have the technology, like everyday people like you and I, doesn't mean that there's not a civilization that has the technology that's, you know, millions of years advanced.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, how many companies out there? I mean, did we know about the smartphone before it came out? I don't think so. I think they were working on the smartphone for years before it came out.
No,
you know?
we didn't. We didn't.
Did you know about spandex before it came out?
No.
Did you know about Velcro or Teflon?
Nope.
I mean,
none of that stuff came out until the 60s.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
Smartphone. No, there was no smartphone. They made the what was it? The iPod first.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's
iPod,
true, and then they were like, "Oh, that's cool. You can use this little circle to scroll through your."
I remember when that was the shit.
Yeah,
bro.
and then they were like, "Oh, we made this phone that you can kind of do the same thing," and then boom,
it was all off of like pressurized touch or whatever.
Yeah.
That was before that was all buttons.
Revolutionary.
Click buttons, dude.
Yeah. But these guys have been flying around in highly advanced craft for years.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And the story, you know, and this is kind of like the earliest that I've found the account of this happening is like the 20s.
Yeah, 20s. Right.
The 20s, right?
And that's just America.
We didn't even learn how to fly the airplane until like 1908 or something, right? Wasn't the Wright brothers?
Right.
Like 1908, 1906 or something?
You know, I also, so talking about the Wright brothers, I did this voiceover thing reading like 8th graders textbooks.
Uh-huh.
And I was reading this passage about the Wright brothers, and it talks about the Wright brothers' father giving them as kids, both of the boys got helicopter toys as kids. So I'm wondering like when the helicopter was invented, because if the helicopter was invented before the airplane, then okay, yeah, maybe that makes sense. But if they got helicopter toys as kids, like that's kind of out of the timeline.
I mean, I guess it seems like you could create lift with spinning blades before you could figure out how to glide long distances.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense, right? Because Da Vinci had all these little things that he had.
Yeah, built. But this looked like a modern helicopter, 4-blade helicopter. Oh. Yeah. So let's see, Wright brothers. When were they born? Was born 1874, and the helicopter was invented in 1939. Okay, so man, that lines up. All right.
In the 30s.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But
there you go. I answered that one.
But the Germans had already been to the moon by 1920.
Already been to the moon, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Well, that's all I got.
That's it, man.
Yeah,
that's
dude.
It.
This has been a fun episode.
Yeah, we'll have to finish off this series, and then we'll come back and do another part 2.
Yeah, dude. Let's do it. I'm down.
Sweet.
There's so many different stories we could talk about Corey Goode with. I just don't want to be like regurgitate. Let's wait a few episodes and come back to another.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll
have
Corey
to
Goode,
do that
because his story is just so out there,
and it's massive.
It's massive, dude. We could recap every single episode if we want, and spend a couple of hours recapping a 30-minute episode. Like,
there's
definitely. Just so much information.
Definitely.
I definitely want to go into I said his name, Rory Emery Smith. There we go. Emery Smith. I'm falling apart here. Emery Smith. I want to go in on him maybe next episode, because it's not Corey Smith. It's Emery. It's
Corey Goode. It's not Corey Goode. It's Emery Smith.
I'm falling apart here.
Yeah.
So I'd love to talk about him as soon as possible, because his story is freaking nuts. He basically was a biologist that dissected and claims to have seen multiple alien and worked with different species of aliens on dissecting these different bodies. Was a part of this program similar to Corey Goode.
Yeah, I started watching a little bit of his stuff, but then I was like, I'm just going to start from the beginning of this. Right. So I went back and started on Corey Goode. Yeah. But yeah, dude, definitely. We'll get into that. We'll get into that probably next time for the next one. But
Dope.
yeah, dude. So, hey, everybody, go check out all of our new merch on UFOGaragePC.com.
Yeah.
Man, we got coffee mugs now. We got like, what, 3-4 different kinds of shirts you can get. We got beanies. We got some snapbacks on there. We got a tank top.
Keep your body cool with a tank top.
Yeah, dude, especially in this 100+ degree weather right now,
Seriously.
man. It's ridiculous.
And we got a backpack too.
Yeah, we got that sweet backpack.
That's a
Dude, that thing is
sweet
sick,
bag. I
man.
know.
I love that.
I want one
love
so bad.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and check out objection51.com. Use UFO Garage code at the checkout, and check out our website for the 10% off on drsquatch.com. Get on your squats.
Alrighty, man. Well, that sounds good. Well, we'll talk to you all next time, guys. Thanks for listening.
Peace.